Good evening. Does everybody have a program? But we're going to start with our video. So there's 12 simple. So be thinking about something. Encourage everybody just how God's working on deck today. So he'll be up into small groups late time afterwards with a couple of snacks. Then following God will help me to
God will help me overcome. News for you today. God always has a way out when we're tempted to indulge in our addiction. In this, Paul gives us some encouragement in 1 Corinthians, but God is faithful, who will not suffer temptation, also make a way. First, number one, others have resisted temptation, and so God says he will help you to resist it. He avoid. Number two, God setting you up for failure. Get out of that situation. Number three, God helps you to resist. Not going to help you to continue in your addiction. Now, through this program, you're being taught many great truths that if you will follow what God says in his word, he will help you overcome your addiction, where you can leave it in the past. Consider this to those Jews which believed on him, disciples indeed. The next, how it tells us it's free, folks. God's truth is our way of escape. It's that simple. Now notice what else has my command of my Father, and I will commandment. It's real important, commandment, which literally means authoritative prescription. Now, when you think of a prescription, I have here, and I'm holding in my hand, my doctor. I went to see him because I didn't want to. What was discovered is he told me that I needed to take those antibiotics. Let's say I go to, and I set it on the kitchen table. Man, it's getting worse. I can hardly even sleep. What, does this guy not figure me out right? I'm feeling worse. Didn't you take the prescription? Well, no, I got it 3 times a day with food, and you're to continue until all the medication is gone. And you're going to see a difference. This is a person who heals us. He wants to heal us spiritually. He wants to free us as well. He tells us that if we will follow what he says, then what will happen? We will be made free. If you can. So if you're willing to follow God, help me, and years 3, we will overcome our addiction. Word conversation means you're corrupt according to deceitful lust. Change your thinking, and that you put on the new man. Think, and Paul the apostle, who God used to 25. It's wrong to lie. There? No. He tells us we need to So in other words, instead of found in verse 28, replace it with, here we go, to give to them that deceptive, you're going and earning an honest living, and then you're able to give to people. I promise you that. But the fact of the matter is, this is God's us. There hath no temptation taken you, but such is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you may be able to overcome my addiction.
It's fun, or everything's so hard, and really with our addiction, this addiction or this weight in this situation, just time, it seems like it's really hard, and it is, we kind of write it off like, oh, that really was, oh man, I can't believe that. And then, it really applies to our everyday lives and to our that. So we're going to, as a mic, and looking for our good. We may not, so try to think of something that God has blessed you, and, I really messed ourselves, and focus it back for you this week. Now, as soon as you get
his goodness and his necessarily care. I know that it's our job as a Christian, yourself in situations that you look back and your future, and it turns out that circumstances have, through prayer, I started praying for her, and how can God use me to have an influence on her, and he's really softened my heart. And so in any case, I have an opportunity to get to know her and to be an encouragement to her, and to open a door to.
Good, thank you, Amy. Not to your friends or the people that you like. Says God, I pray you just move them on in life, but God just works in crazy ways. So it's really good that you prayed for her, and God's working, and God's doing something in your life. The idea up here in the front,
and SimpleSteps in this church, because me and my family had COVID in the past 2 weeks, and
it's really good to just know that people are thinking about, even in just the everyday life. You did very good. Heidi.
Different ones. So to this program, you had been going to AA for 17 something. Thought I was going to get by coming here. So
Yeah, probably the hardest part. It's just going to be chaos, somewhat chaotic with all the. Just seems like you have a million Christmas. God moved in will here, so I mean that's really cool. In just 2 years, well, God has a testimony. Have a good one, right?
Taking the rest of that time. That went through about get them at fast forward to about so they broke up. So I was like, wow, this is kind of heavy. We need to meet praying. I was like, with it we were able to pray together. But he thanked me, and I'm really.
Thank you, Dave. After you've not worked with them, God kind of put you in that being available and just stepping out. It's really good. A lot of times. All right.
Church that I've been going, I haven't had a drink.
Awesome. Yeah, turns into a month, turns into help. You never know heeding that and just praying, and so good. A
lot of friends and family work the program. It works for you, right? Just thankful, and my parents does it thankful for that. So
you have one. I want you to succeed. Here.
A week ago, and I'm sure it's just like to take labor.
Help us calm down. Maybe time for one more. While Jake is, this one kids need a place to go. So our school, but we have a Bible hours in the no school camp, and we had some yarn. It's a good time to get a little bit out of the norm. We're packing, willing to share it, and up and on the having prayer. So.
I'm just kidding. Tragic start to the event. So now, in order for you to get to heaven, have as much time as you want to think if you get in. Thinking about it right now. Is God's first name. He put lots of time into it. And he's like, all right, I believe I said, okay, sir. The angel number 2, question number 2. Did anybody hear him? December 2nd. So now he's like, all right, here's question number 3. The man without even a thought responds, okay, please explain. We're talking about mostly on the prayer aspect. In Luke, we're going to be looking, that obviously doesn't mean, I think one thing that it's talking about Jesus, there's going to be times where the point of what he was writing down. Let's just kind of discuss to think of it. God, please help me, grant this wish, just get me out of this. How I got it. But somehow, without telling member, I got one day I was working out, but then the next, what's the best thing to do when you're caught? To the effect of, oh God, please, I'll know that you did this. And did I stop again? But that time I got for someone close. It is about us. It's not about us. I want to clarify this. We're going to be talking about he's the man after we read through the whole thing. It is that, and I will admit the situation you're prayer with all the names. You get to call him dad. That Jesus clearly wants us, and you know what? We fear. Get scared to tell him what I'm thinking. Looking at me in a way simple. It's just me talking of the letter, the body, or in the 6 petitions, I'm sure you could kind of continuing on. Word how that up. At the end of the day, interesting to note that Jesus devoted both in earth as it God's coming kingdom. Now God isn't down here on. It's important that we acknowledge, you know what? Yeah, I want your will to be done here on earth, just like I do in heaven. And part of that too is just the daily aspect. What can I do? Good. Me do not